So, we are not going to bother looking at the things that we've unlocked yet. We're going down the list. We've got these 5 games that or 6. There are 6 games that we start with unlocked.
What?
So here's boxing.
And
there's mini Waluigi. Many Waluigi.
Ooh.
Waluigi is the plural of Waluigi, you see.
That's bowling. That is not boxing.
That is not boxing at all, but that Big Boo is very happy about it. So, and it's Waluigi, so can you really, fault him?
Yes?
Well, that's only because you care about the rules of boxing, probably. Anyway, boxing. The rules of boxing. There are high and low punches. To block an opponent's punch, you move your hands high or low, or just avoid it altogether. So, Game & Watch Boxing was one of the versus mode style of games, where it had 2 little control paddles that were kind of stowed in a back compartment in it. Mm-hmm. And you could play, it was like a 2-player versus thing. But it also did have a 1-player mode. Game A was 1 player against a computer. Game B is the 2-player mode. So, here you can see, I am the character on the right. That's just how they did these versus mode games, was player 1 is on the right. It probably made more sense to a Japanese audience. Mm-hmm. But, you've got the, you have up and down to move where your fists are, and you've got your punch, and you've got a dodge, where you lean back. Mm-hmm. So, when you punch, if your opponent has their fists up blocking in that zone, then you will not get a hit in. If their fists are in the other zone, then you'll hit them. If they are dodging, then you can't hit them. If you both punch at the same time, then you get kind of knocked back. There is the numbers up there, that is like their energy levels. The bars show their kind of defenses. Here, there is a time limit on each round, and when the time limit is about to come up, you see the guy with the bell, gonna ring the bell and start a new round of fighting. So each time you hit the opponent, 1 bar of that energy bar will go down, and they will lose 1 point of their 1 bar of defense goes down, and they lose 1 point of energy. When the defense bar runs out, they get knocked back 1 stage. If they're already up against the ropes, they get knocked down and lose a bunch of energy all at once. Mm-hmm. And you keep doing that until somebody hits 0. If you knock the computer opponent down to 0, you win. If the round ends, then everyone you get to sit back and it resets you back in the middle. If you go 9 rounds without somebody winning the match, then it's called by whoever has the most remaining defense. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, that's the game. This is one of the most complicated Game & Watch games, actually. There's a lot of weird little rules, a lot of things going on. Now, you may be wondering, how do you hit 1,000 points in this game? Right. And the answer is you don't.
Oh.
So this game uses a slightly different scoring mechanic for getting stars than any of the other games. It goes by KOs. So each time I win a match, it shows the KOs display, and that counts up. Every 3 KOs is 1 star. So you get 15 KOs, and that's your 5 stars for boxing.
Okay.
And it took me a little bit to kind of get used to how this works and how it goes, but then I found the singular winning strategy. You start by dodging, and then you just mash punch. And you just do that until they get knocked back. Repeat. Start the round by dodging, and then punch until they get knocked out. Bam. That's how you win. I managed to get up to 30 KOs doing that. At which point, I gave up because I could clearly see that I was never going to lose naturally. As you progress, at the start of the game, the opponent only has, I think it was 2 bars of defense. And as you progress, as you get more KOs, they start with more and more defense bars until it's, you both have the full 5.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's boxing. That's how boxing works.
That's how boxing works.
Yeah, that's how boxing
You
works.
dodge once and then you mash A.
So
And game B was just versus, so there's only the one set.
so you may recall, actually, in Game & Watch Gallery 3, there was a versus game, Judge. And
Right.
in that, it had the most bizarre thing where to get 5 stars on Game B of Judge, you had to do linked play with another person who had the game, who had Judge unlocked, and you had to win.
Right.
Now, they still have the linked play in this, but they did better about it this time. So, and here's where I just gave up and just let him knock me out repeatedly. It took a while for him to actually win the match against me. And you can see, yeah, I got the 30 KOs there.
Yeah.
So, the way that they do the linked play in this, first of all, there's a new Game & Watch game in the museum in the gallery corner. We'll look at that when I get to the gallery. So, first of all, you only need 1 cartridge, because that's something the Game Boy Advance can do, is single cartridge link play.
Right.
So, you have the 1 game cart, you get 2 Game Boys, you link them up, and you can play with that. You can set a little handicap, earn 1 star for each match. Period. Does not matter who wins, you just play 5 times.
Oh.
And you get your 5 stars. That's how it works. So, a little bit... It's like, for me, for my purposes, playing this alone because I have no friends is a little bit tedious. But, it works. So, you get in the linked play, you've got a handicap that you can set, specifically to make player 2 weaker. So, you can set the defense gauge for player 2. As I mentioned in the single-player mode, the opponent's defense would increase as you progressed. In the 2-player mode, you can set what player 2's defense is. Player 1's defense is always 5.
Huh.
But you can set a handicap to make player 2 weaker, and then whoever needs the handicap plays as player 1.
That's weird.
It's a little awkward, but I mean, that's how they did it. I can only assume that it just made the programming of it easier to not have to, like, change the starting value of player 1's character, of how they
Yeah, I guess.
they do. So, yeah, I just do that. I did that 5 times, and I got the 5 stars, and that was that.
Oh, yeah.
And, so it gives you, like, a little hint thing if you leave with a low score. We'll see all of those later. Anyway, are you getting the hang of the Game & Watch games? Well, why don't you try Mario Brothers? Move your characters up and down the ladders, but make sure that none of the packages fall off. They're finishing each other's sentences.
Please don't.
Also, I just wanted to show off, this is what you get when, if the link gets disrupted, if you pull out the cable in the middle of a match. I'm only going to show this the one time. There's a couple of other, connected, versus mode games in this, but, this is the only time I'm actually just going to show the
Transmission
disconnect,
error.
because it's the same for all of them.
Alright.
That's it for boxing.